What's happening, people? Just going to walk through a bit of a weekly outlook coming into this week. So last week played out literally to a T. We opened mid-range in here and we were just looking to take this low. So as we can see, it's kind of confirmed the current structure and where we're heading. We do have equal lows here, which I would like to come take. So until we return back bullish, I'm just going to continue with this bearish structure. We've had an inducement into mitigation with an extreme point. We've now broken twice. What's either going to happen is this point will push us all the way up to the high, or we'll get some type of inducement and then come sell off of that. So in the meantime, all we're looking for is lower time frame confirmations here, just to push us to the upside and kind of once we see the move start early, continue that move until we hit a valid point. So on the 4 hour, I'm not expecting this point to hold. So today, what I'm trying to do is buy through this point. So if I jump down to the 15 minute, like that. As you can see, we've kind of already confirmed this. So we had a really, really good take of liquidity here, really, really good push into this area, and now we're kind of sitting in this, what I would call a high time frame trap area. So all I'm trying to do is just buy through this. So on the 15-minute day, we don't have a lot to work with. We have induced a fair amount of sellers with this move to the downside. We are looking very, very bullish. We've now broken above the Asia highs. So all I'm kind of looking for today is just come in, take this low into this area of demand to buy off of this. If I do take the Asia lows, what I'll need is my entry model of some type of move to the upside, take this low, possibly even retest this area of break, and then I'm actually okay to buy through that, targeting that liquidity. Okay, so they're the multiple reasons and options coming into today. Ideally, I would like to buy. I don't actually see an option for sells at the moment, okay? Until it gives us that option, I'm not really going to try. So even on the 5-minute, there's not really anything here. We've kind of just liquidated the top area of this point here. Yes, it is an inducement high. It did take a little bit of 15-minute liquidity to the left, but as you can see, it just hasn't given us a good reaction here, and I've had no selling movement here, at least telling me we're heading towards this low, possibly looking to fill this imbalance here. So until that happens, I'm just going to look to buy. We've got a really good medium inducement here to buy up. This will bring in a fair amount of sellers off of that inducement low. So that's kind of the go coming into today. Now, if I jump over to EU, more or less the same thing. For me, EU is actually more or less confirmed what's happening. So unfortunately, we do have that 50-50-ness nature of the market at the moment. Like I said, we don't know if we're actually buying up or if we're going to continue selling. So we are in that little bit of indecision. If I just mark this out so we can see it on the higher time frame. We have major induced into the mitigation of this valid point. Now, this area here did take liquidity too. So if we do return bullish, this is the perfect point too. And basically we'll just get a reaction kind of like this. Kind of like this here, like that. And that's kind of what you'll see. Not a lot of structure in here. It's done really a lot. This demand is responsible for that higher break. The only reason I'm okay to sell is because this liquidity here did take a daily high. So we do have cause and effect to the upside of this thing, but more or less, this actually does look like a bit of a complex pullback. So given that's the case, I am okay to buy. Now, just like on GU, until we obviously get that, I am quite happy to buy through this immediate point as a minimum. It shouldn't hold just given liquidity versus liquidity, current momentum of the market, 4-hour inducements, and so on and so forth. So what I'll do is, what I'm basically looking for is I'm going to have what I'll do is I'll mark out my arrows like I did last week, and we'll kind of keep them updated day to day. I'm kind of expecting something like that. Or what we'll get is something off of the take of this liquidity like that, possibly off of that, mitigating that area. And then what I'll do is I'll hide this from my lower time frame chart so we can see that coming into the week like that. There it's hidden. Okay, so basically on the 15-minute, like I said, reading through this, we should come through this point. We should take it. We have induced high and then had a pretty decent 2-leg move to the downside, but it's just done nothing. And all this is telling me is just sellers aren't gaining control of price at the moment. We've more or less taken an internal inducement now, so it is actually valid to sell on EU now that it's taken that high. And this actually fits an entry model on the 15-minute as well, being a high outside of Asia range, so we can look to sell. But so I'm going to look to sell on EU coming into the session, but I still like buys just like we have on GU. And like I said, if we take the Asia low, I'm looking for some build-up of liquidity in between those two levels to then have that, to then take that like that, continuing with that momentum. So, and that'll kind of line up with the 4-hour outlook I have anyway. So we may need to let price build today. We are in an interesting spot. We have induced recently on both pairs. So that being the case, we do expect a little bit of a fall off in the market, which we have had, but it's a very, very shit one. So we're either going to continue buying up within that range and build liquidity to the upside, or we're going to kind of give us something like that and sell through this area of liquidity, expecting buyers to still be in the market, retest this area of a break, and then possibly buy through that. So they're the two options. Keep trading off inducements and we'll kind of go from there. I'll keep you updated, obviously, as the week goes on. Now, in terms of USDCAD, at the high of a range, we have actually taken that high, which I wanted to take last week. We then had a really, really good break here, take of liquidity, second break here, which is very clean, retest area that is now taken internal liquidity. Nope, it's made equal lows. So all I would be looking for on USD CAD is some type of move up, whether it's taking this high here or just taking this high here to get something like that. So sells either go on CAD, which lines up with EU and GU we want to buy. So realistically, once we come and take this high here, I am open to actually selling this. Okay. On gold, we are at a higher high. Not interested, staying out, but I don't mind this at all. So I'm actually set an alert here and I will be watching this pair closely. But EU and GU are the main go. We'll go from there. Any questions in the Telegram, let me know. I've just uploaded last week's recap as well. All the trades I took. I did this with a couple of members from the group that I run. So did that live with them, went through all the possible trades you could have taken. So go ahead and have a look at that one. And yeah, let's have a good week. Any questions, chuck them in the comments. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the Telegram and I'll see you guys as we come back tomorrow.